Okay, good day everyone. So for today, we are going to have the last lesson of the third quarter, and it's all about the chemical kinetics. Under this topic, we're going to have the discussion of the topics: the rate of chemical reaction, the collision theory, the factors that influence reaction rate, the rate law and its components, and the catalyst. So to start with, let us have the definition of chemical kinetics. So when we say chemical kinetics, it is actually the study of the rate at which the chemical reaction occurs. In other words, it is the study of how fast the chemical reaction happen. How fast that does the reactants become product, and in this topic we're going to understand kung gaano nga ba kabilis na nangyayari ang chemical reaction. So now, first is we have to determine kung paano ba siya makuha. Okay? So in getting the rate of the chemical reaction, it is actually determined by monitoring the change in concentration of either the reactants or products as a function of time. So, as you can see here, we have the term change in concentration. So, last time we have discussed about the concentration units. So, di ba, we have the percent by mass, percent by volume, molarity, and even the mole fraction. In understanding the rate of chemical reaction, ang ginagamit nating concentration unit is actually the molarity. Okay? So sa pagkuha ng rate ng chemical reaction, kailangan natin yung molarity or the molar concentration. So in getting the rate, actually, we're going to know kung paano nagkakaroon ng products. In which way, kung pag naubos na yung reactants, ilan yung products na mabubuo. So, paano natin yun malalaman? We're going to have the change in concentration over a time period. Again, when we say rate, we're going to have the change in concentration over the time period. Or delta bracket, ang ibig sabihin ng bracket is the molarity over delta t or time. Okay? So we're going to have after a certain amount of time, halimbawa after 20 seconds, anong nangyari sa molarity nung substance A at nung substance B mo. Okay? So, again, ang pagre-represent natin ng concentration dito is through molarity and it is enclosed with the bracket. Ang ibig ng bracket ay molar concentration. Okay? So here we have the formula. Again, the rate of chemical reaction is the change in concentration over the time taken of either the product or the reactant. Okay? Again, yung ating change in concentration ay molarity. So with this, ang rate of chemical reaction would be molarity over second or molar over second. So aside from that, pwede rin nating makuha yung speed ng chemical reaction. So we could actually get it by getting the change in the mass of the reactant or product per unit time or the change in volume per unit time. Again, sa pagkuha ng rate ng chemical reaction, pwedeng through molarity, pwedeng through the change in mass, or through the change in volume. Okay? So unlike any other substances, itong pagkuha ng rate of chemical reaction, mas madali siya nakukuha through experimentation. Kasi 'di ba before, through stoichiometry, alam na natin kung paano makukuha yung amount ng substance. Dito, kailangan experiment yung basis mo. And sa experiments, meron tayong iba't ibang trials. So for example, consider a common experiment in the laboratory using the setup in the figure on the side showing the production of hydrogen gas from the reaction of the zinc and dilute hydrogen chloride. So ang ating balance equation would be zinc plus hydrogen chloride to form hydrogen gas plus zinc chloride. So mas makukuha natin yung rate ng reaction na to base sa pagkaubos ng reactants which is either zinc or hydrogen chloride or kapag meron ng simulang mag-appear na product which is either hydrogen gas or zinc chloride. And in this example, actually, nakuha natin yung rate using the appearance of hydrogen gas as represented on the figure. So as you can see, meron tayong zinc pellets dito and hydrogen chloride sa loob ng Erlen Meyer Plus, tapos may syringe tayo. Yung syringe, unti-unti siyang umaangat kasi merong hydrogen gas na na-accumulate and that is our product. And then, ginawa is kinalculate or nilagay or ni-record yung amount ng hydrogen gas na nabuo in different time period. So, ito yung naging data from that experiment. So, una, syempre, wala muna. On the first second, so merong na-accumulate na 2 milliliters ng hydrogen gas, and then second second, after 2 seconds we have 8 milliliter, after 3 seconds 14, after 4 seconds 18 milliliter, 5 and so on. Ito yung naging volume ng hydrogen gas na na-accumulate. Now, to solve for the rate of the reaction, ang gagawin mo is to use the formula. Ano nga uli yung mga formula natin? It's either using molarity, mass, or the volume. But since yung nakuha natin is volume ng gas na na-accumulate dito sa syringe, so volume yung nakuha nating amount ng product. So to get the average rate, we're going to have the change in the volume over the time taken. Okay? So for example, kukunin natin yung average rate nung 4 seconds na yung lumipas. So as you can see, may 18 milliliters tayo after the 4th second. And then, isusubtract natin yung initial na quantity ng H2 bago yung pang-apat na segundo, which is yung under 3 seconds, which is 14. So 18 minus 14 over 4, kasi yun yung kinukuha na natin na average rate. So that would be equal to 4 milliliter over 4 seconds or 1 ml per second. So yun yung average rate doon sa pang-apat na segundo. And pwede mo pang kunin yung rate sa iba't ibang segundo. Until such time na wala ka ng ma-accumulate na product. So, ibig sabihin nun, tapos na yung reaction. So, ganun lang yung pagkuha ng rate ng chemical reaction. Under experiment, we're going to get kung ilan yung nakuwang product or ilan yung nawalang reactant. In this case, sa example natin, ang ginamit natin na pangkuha ng rate is yung nakuwang amount ng product, which is H2. At ang ginamit nating formula is yung the change in volume over time taken. So, ganun lang ang pagkuha ng rate ng chemical reaction. Again, nakabase ang resulta or ang rate doon sa resulta ng experiment. Okay? Now, paano ba nangyayari yung pagkakaroon ng product? Okay? Paano ba yung reactants ay naging product? So, meron tayong tinatawag na collision theory. The collision theory states that the molecules must collide in order to react. Okay? So, sa collision theory, meron tayong tinatawag na effective and ineffective collision. Meron tayong dalawang dapat i-consider para masabing may collision na nangyari or effective collision na nangyari. Pag effective collision ang nangyari, magkakaroon ng product. Pag ineffective ang collision, walang product na mabubuo. Ano yung dalawang sinasabi ko na kailangan para masabing effective yung collision? Una, kailangan enough yung energy ng mga molecules. And then, pangalawa, kailangan proper yung orientation. Okay? So, for example, sobrang bagal ng reactants molecule. So, ang nangyayari, vibrate lang sila ng vibrate pero hindi naghihiwalay yung reactants sa original nilang kasama as substance. So, ang nangyayari, walang product na nabubuo. Nagbabounce lang ng nagbabounce dahil sobrang bagal ng movement at mababa ang energy. So with that, ineffective yung collision. Another thing, kapag hindi tama yung orientation. For example, di ba meron tayong mga partially positive or partially negative side ng mga substance. Kapag ang nangyari, parehas uh, yung sign nila, kumbaga parehas na positive, edi ang mangyayari, hindi sila maa-attract sa isa't isa. So, walang mangyayari din na collision. So, ineffective collision. Sa effective collision, again, kailangan enough yung energy and dapat proper yung orientation. So, ganun kapag ka-effective collision. And anong mangyayari kapag effective ang collision? Merong product na mabubuo. Okay? So again, in order for us to have effective collision, there must be enough energy of the colliding particles and there is proper orientation of the molecules at the time of collision. By the way, ang tawag natin dun sa energy na kailangan ng mga molecules or particles para magkaroon ng collision is activation energy. Okay? Okay? Again, for a reaction to happen, kailangan merong effective collision. And para masabing effective yung collision, kailangan may enough energy within the colliding particles and kailangan proper yung orientation. So, by the way, ang tawag dun sa energy of the colliding particles is the activation energy. Pag sinabing activation energy, yun yung energy na kailangan para maghiwa-hiwalay yung molecules ng reactants. And then, kapag na-meet na yun, unti-unti naman siyang bababa para makabuo ng products. So, that is the effective collision. Next is the factors that influence the reaction rate. So, what are the different factors that influence the reaction rate? Okay? First is the physical state of the reactants. So, ibig sabihin, mas mabilis na makapag-react yung powdered form kesa sa pellet form. Okay? So, yun yung isa sa factor. Second is the concentration of the reactants. So, sabi, the more concentrated the reactant, the faster the rate. And then third, the temperature. So usually, reactions speed up with the increasing temperature. So mas mabilis na nangyayari ang reaction sa mga matataas na temperature. Okay? So next is the presence or the absence of a catalyst. So usually, ang catalyst, napapabilis niya yung reaction. Okay? But actually, later on, sasabihin ko kung anong catalyst yung nakakapagpabilis ng reaction. And then lastly is the light. Okay? So usually naman sa light din, the presence of light may speed up the reaction. But not all the time. Kasi meron tayong mga dark and light reaction na tinatawag. Okay? So again, these are the factors that influence the reaction rate. First is the physical state of the reactants, followed by the concentration of the reactants, the temperature of the reaction, presence or the absence of a catalyst, and the light. Okay. Next topic that we have is the rate law. Rate law or rate equation are mathematical expressions that describes the relationship between the rate of the chemical reaction and the concentration of its reactants. So mathematically, ine-express ang rate law using this equation. Rate is equal to rate constant, bracket A, superscript M, bracket B, superscript N, and then bracket C, superscript P. So, ibig sabihin ng rate law equation na to, rate is equal to the rate constant, yung K, and then, yung bracket, ibig sabihin yun yung molarity ng mga reactants or even the product. Okay? But usually, reactants. Okay? So, kung meron kang tatlong reactants, edi A, B, and C. Kung ano mang reactants yun or anong substance. And then, superscript represents the reaction order of the reactant. Okay? So, yung reaction order, nakukuha siya using the rate law equation then. But, sometimes, using a certain problem, pag sinabi na yung order of the reaction, pwede mo nang makuha yung rate law equation ng chemical reactions. Okay, so again, ang ating rate law expression or rate law equation is rate is equal to K, wherein K stands for rate constant. Bracket A, bracket means molar concentration, and then letter A is our first reactant, and then superscript M means reaction order of that reactant A. And then bracket B, second reactant. Molar concentration ang ibig sabihin ng bracket. And then superscript N, yung reaction order ng second reactant. And then letter C, third reactant, and so on and so forth. Okay? So sa pagkuha ng rate law expression ng iba't ibang reaction, madali lang kung may given kang order ng reactants. For example, determine the rate law expression of a reaction that is second order in NO and first order in H2. So given the balance equation 2NO plus 2H2 to form N2 plus 2H2O. So as you can see here, ang rate law expression natin is equal to K bracket NO raised to 2 bracket H2 and close bracket. So paano ba nakuha to or paano siya naging ganyan? So copy mo lang, rate is equal to K kasi rate constant yan. Bracket, enclose mo lang sa bracket yung first reactant natin, which is NO. And then, enclose mo ulit yung ating bracket. And then, superscript 2. Anong ibig sabihin ng superscript 2? Reaction order ng reactant na yon. So, sabi dito, second order daw si NO. Okay, so yun yung ibig sabihin ng 2. And then, bracket H2, yun yung second na reactant natin based on the problem. And it is first order. So, close the bracket. Wala nang nakasulat na 1, pero ibig sabihin nung pagkakaroon natin ng H2 dito, siya ay first order. So, pag 1 kasi, di ba, hindi na natin siya sinusulat. Okay? So, ganun lang kadali. Kasi given na second order daw si NO, first order si H2. So, yung order of the reactant, nakasulat lang as superscript. Except pag 1, di na siya isinusulat. Okay? So again, in this example, ang sagot ay rate is equal to K bracket NO raised to 2 bracket H2 close bracket. Okay? So now, pag tinanong ka naman, what is the overall order of the reaction? Okay? So, in getting the overall order, i-add mo lang yung order ng reactants mo. So, dahil second order kay NO at first order kay H2, the overall order would be third order. Okay? So, ganun lang kadali. So, sa exam, meron niyang ganyang problem. You're going to determine the rate law expression. So, sundin mo lang yung format natin ng rate law equation. And then, pag tinanong ka ano yung overall order, i-add mo lang yung order ng reactants. Another example. An experiment shows that the reaction of nitrogen dioxide with carbon monoxide, so we have NO2 plus CO to form NO plus CO2, is second order in NO2 and zero order at CO at 100 degrees Celsius. So what is the rate law for the reaction? So again, sa rate law equation natin, susundin lang natin yung format dito sa taas. Okay? So now, rate is equal to K. Ano yung una nating reactant dito? So sa problem, unang sinabi na second order si NO2. So lagay mo lang bracket NO2 and then close the bracket and again sulat mo na 2 indicating na second order CNO2. And then, zero order daw si CO. Kapag zero order ang reactant, wala siya sa rate law expression. Kasi sabi nga natin, pag binultiply mo sa zero, magiging zero din siya. So, dahil zero order, hindi mo siya dapat ilagay dyan. So, kasi kapag nilagay mo yung zero na yan, maaapektuhan yung rate law equation. Again, ang takeaway lang dito, kapag zero order, wala siya sa rate law expression. Kapag ka may 1, nandun siya pero walang exponent. Katulad nung sa previous example. Pero kapag 0, wala siya dapat sa rate law expression. Again, pag zero order, wala sa rate law expression. Okay? So, pag tinanong, what is the overall order of the reaction? Ang sagot, second order. Kasi 2 plus 1, 2 plus 0, is 2. Second order kay NO2, zero order kay CO. So again, ganun lang yung pagkuha. Again, meron yan sa exam. So madali lang gumawa ng rate law expression kung meron kang order of the reactant. Kapag wala kang order of the reactant, so we're going to use this formula. So don't worry, wala naman siya sa exam and wala naman tayong written work sa week 6. So, performance task lang. Pero if you want to know, so I'll explain kung paano kunin yung order of the reactant. So, again, sabi ko nga kanina, based on the experimentation ang pagkuha ng rate. Okay? So, meron kang data dapat from the experiment. So, susundin mo lang yung rate law equation na kanino ko pa paulit-ulit na sinasabi. Rate is equal to K, bracket A, close bracket, and then M, bracket B, close bracket, exponent N. Now, in this example, as you can see, wala tayong nakalagay na order of the reactant pa. kapag kukunin mo yung order of the reactant, kailangan mo 'tong formula na 'tong mukhang komplikado pero actually madali lang siya. So, rate trial 2 over rate trial 1 is equal to rate constant, bracket reactant 1, trial 2 raised to m, bracket reactant 2, trial 2 raised to n over rate constant reactant 1, trial 1 raised to m, reactant 2, trial 1 raised to n. Okay? So, ang gagawin lang dito, kukunin mo yung order ng reactant ng unang reactant, and then, kapag kinuha mo yun, kailangan yung constant yung isa. And then, vice versa. Okay? So, paano yun? Example. So, in order for us to get the order of the reactant of O2, so yung M kasi siya yung unang reactant natin. Again, ang reactant natin dito, O2 tsaka NO. Okay? So, ito yung data ng experimentation. Ang gagawin mo, pipili ka ng trials kung saan yung kasama niya, which is si NO, ay constant para makuha mo yung exponent M ni O2. Okay? So, anong gagawin mo? You will get the exponent M in O2 from the given set of the data in the table. We will substitute the rate and the molarity of two trials where the molarity of NO is kept constant. So with that, ang pipiliin mo ay trial 1 at 2. Again, bakit trial 1 at 2 ang pipiliin mo? Kasi kailangan constant si NO kapag kukunin mo yung M ni O2. So dahil parehas na 0.0130 yung trials 1 and 2 para kay NO, siya yung gagamitin mo. So paano yun? So substitute natin from the given equation. So rate trial 2, ano ba yung rate sa pangalawang trial? 0.00642 over rate trial 1, 0.00321 is equal to the rate constant. Wala tayong specific na valueng binigay, so K muna over K. And then, reactant 1, trial 2. Ang reactant 1 mo ay si O2. So, siya yung una mong kukuning exponent, yung M. Okay? Ang reactant 1 na O2, ang ating molarity sa trial 2 ay 0.0220. Okay? Again, yung 0.0220 dito, nagmula yan sa table. Sa pangalawang trial, ang molar concentration ni O2 ay 0.0220. And then close the bracket, letter M or superscript M. And then open bracket na naman, reactant 2, trial 2. Si reactant 2 ay si NO. Ano yung molar concentration sa trial 2 na reactant 2? 0.0130. Saan yan galing? Dito sa table. Second trial under NO. And then raised to N. Over K. And then reactant 1, trial 1. Si reactant 1 again, O2. Sa trial 1, ang molarity ay 0.0110. Close bracket, raised to M. And then, reactant 2, trial 1. So, dahil nga yung constant yung value niya, parehas yung trials 1 and 2, 0.0130 raised to n. So, unang step pa lang yan, sinubstitute lang natin from the equation. Next is we have to eliminate. What are we going to eliminate? Yung constant value. So, yung trials 1 and 2 ni NO, parehas yung nakuha nating molarity. So, makakancel out sila lahat. Pati yung K over K. And then, after that, we will divide. Ang natira nung nag-eliminate tayo would be 0.00642 over 0.00321 is equal to bracket 0.0220 raised to m over bracket 0.0110 raised to m. When we divide that using the calculator, ang lalabas ay 2 on the left side is equal to 2 raised to m. Ngayon, alamin mo yung value ng m kasi yun nga yung kinukuha natin, yung order ng reactant ni O2. So ngayon, you're just going to think logically, what exponent are you going to use para maging tama yung equation? 2 is equal to 2 dapat. Ngayon, ano bang exponent ni 2 ang dapat para maging 2 pa rin siya? Since any number raised to 1 will be equal to that same number, then m is equal to 1. Okay? So, 1 ang value ng m kasi 2 raised to 1 is equal to 2. So, tama yung equation mo. 2 is equal to 2. So, ibig sabihin, m is equal to 1 Ibig sabihin ng M, order of the reactant O2. So the order of the reactant O2 will be 1. It means that the reaction is first order on the reactant O2. So meron ka na nung M. Ngayon, next mo is si N. Katulad ng ginawa mo kanina, pipili ka ng dalawang trial kung saan constant yung molar concentration nung kasama niya. So kanina, ang pinili natin trials 1 and 2 kasi ang kasama ni O2 ay si NO. So, constant yung 0.0130 ng NO sa trials 1 and 2. This time, si NO naman ang kukunan mo ng order of the reactant or we use that as the exponent N. So, ang pipiliin mong trial is constant naman si O2. At anong trial constant si O2? Trials 1, 3, and 5. Pero, yung unang mas malapit yung pipiliin mo. So, we're going to use trials 1 and 3. So, anong gagawin mo? You're going to use yung rate ni trial 3, yung molar concentration nila, at saka yung sa trial 1. Okay? So, una, rate trial 3, that is 0.01284 from the table. Saan galing yung 0.01284? Dito sa table, yung rate sa trial 3. Over rate sa trial 1, 0.00321 is equal to K over K. And then, bracket, reactant 1, trial 3. Ang reactant 1 natin ay si O2 pa din at sa trial 3, ang kanyang molarity ay 0.0110. Okay, close bracket, raised to M. Okay, and then, bracket uli, reactant 2, trial 3. Sa reactant 2 natin, si NO, ang molar concentration sa trial 3, 0.0260. Okay, raised to N over yung K natin, retain lang yan, bracket 0.0110 close bracket raised to M. Saan galing naman yun? From the trial 1, molar concentration ni reactant 1, trial 1. And then raised to M, another bracket, reactant 2, trial 1. So that is 0.0130 raised to N. Saan galing yung 0.0130? From the first trial of the reactant 2. Kasi ang ginamit nga natin dito, trials 1 and 3. Bakit? Kasi yun yung constant CO2. Dahil yung kay N ang NO ang kinukuha natin, yung exponent N. Next, after we substitute, eliminate. Ang i-eliminate natin this time yung sa part ng O2 kasi siya yung constant. So, K, 0.0110 raised to M, makakancel out on the numerator and denominator. Kapag na-eliminate sila, ang matitira ay 0.01284 over 0.00321 is equal to 0.0260 raised to N over 0.0130 raised to N. Okay? And then divide. Pag dinivide mo, ang lalabas 4 on the left side and then 2 raised to N on the right side. Okay? So now, think of an exponent that you're going to raise for number 2 para maging equal sa 4. Okay? So, isipin mo, ano ba yung dapat na maging exponent ni 2 para equal sa 4? So, you're going to have 2 as the exponent because 2 raised to 2 is equal to 4. Okay? So, now, yung exponent na 2, yun yung n natin. N is equal to 2. So, ibig sabihin, the order of the reactant NO will be 2. It means that the reaction is second order in the reactant NO. So, ngayon, meron ka ng order of the reactant, pwede ka nang gumawa ng rate law equation. So, rate is equal to K, bracket O2 kasi siya yung ating unang reactant. First order tayo, sabi natin kanina. First order. So, wala na siyang superscript kasi 1, hindi na sinusulat. And then, bracket NO dahil siya yung second reactant natin at second order sa reactant na NO, so may superscript na 2. Okay? So, ganun yung paggawa ng rate law equation using the experiment. So, mahirap kapag wala kang order of the reactant. Pero kung meron, katulad nung unang-unang example natin, madali lang. Susundin mo lang yung rate law equation. Pag tinanong ka what is the overall order, sum of the exponents lang. 1 plus 2, that is 3. So the reaction order or overall order of the reaction is third order reaction. Okay? So to get the rate constant, isa-substitute mo lang and i-derive yung formula. Okay? So nakabase uli yan sa experiment. So you're just going to use yung first trial sa pagkuha ng rate constant. Okay? So wala naman siya sa exam. But again, i-derive mo lang to. Kung ang rate law equation mo dito sa ating equation na ito ay K bracket O2 close bracket NO close bracket raised to 2, derive mo lang para makuha ang rate constant or K. K is equal to the rate over bracket O2 bracket NO raised to 2. And then, use yung first trial from the experiment data to get the value of K. Okay? So, ganun lang naman siya kadali. So, another thing lang, kung gusto mo malaman yung units, so, ito yung mga units ng K. Kapag zero order, ito yung unit. Kapag first order, ito yung unit. Second order, ito. And then third order, ito. And dahil third order yung ating example kanina, dapat ang units ng K ay L squared over mole squared times S. And as you can see, yung nakuha naman ay L squared over mole squared times S. Okay? So, if you want further information regarding this, pwede nyo naman akong tanongin. Okay? Ito naman another example. So, pwede nyo itong itry on your own. So, ang mga tanong, ano daw yung overall order? So, dahil walang indicated na order of the reactants, you're going to use yung formula na ginawa natin from the previous example. After mo makuha yung rate law equation, makukuha mo yung overall order at makukuha mo yung rate constant. Okay, so pwede nyong i-pause sa part na to and then pwede nyong i-check yung sagot nyo dito. So, ito yung letter A. So, ang tanong ay overall order lang pero ang dami mong gagawin. Okay? So, don't worry, wala to sa exam. Ang meron sa exam yung unang-unang example kanina sa pagkuha ng overall order at saka rate law equation. Okay? So, next is the catalyst. Catalyst is a substance that increases or decreases the rate of chemical reaction without itself undergoing a permanent chemical change. Kanina, sabi natin, isa sa factor na makakapagpabilis ng reaction is ang catalyst. Actually, may dalawang klase ng catalyst, the promoter and the inhibitor. When we say promoter catalyst or the positive catalyst, ito yung nagpapabilis ng chemical reaction. Bakit? Anong ginagawa ni catalyst? Kasi sabihin natin para marami or mangyari yung reaction, kailangan may enough na activation energy. So kasi yung activation energy, yun yung magpapahiwalay sa molecules ng reactants. Ngayon, kapag mataas yung activation energy, wala ring mabobuo na product. Kasi sobrang excited yung molecules nila. So ngayon, anong gagawin ni catalyst? Si catalyst yung magpapababa ng activation energy para mabilis na mangyari na magkaroon ng product. Okay? So wag kayong malito ha. Si promoter catalyst or positive catalyst, ang ginagawa niya, napapabilis niya yung chemical reaction dahil pinabababa niya yung activation energy. Bakit pinapababa, ma'am? Akala ko ba kailangan ng energy? Sa una lang kailangan yung activation energy para mapaghiwalay yung molecules ng reactants. Pero, kapag nakuha na yun or nangyari na yung paghiwalay ng molecules ng reactants, kailangan bumaba na uli yung activation energy para makabuo naman ng product. So, yun yung role ni promoter catalyst. Pinapababa niya yung activation energy para mabilis na mangyari yung reaction. Yung inhibitor or negative catalyst, pinapabagal niya yung reaction. Bakit? Kasi, ang nangyayari, tinataasan niya pa yung activation energy. So, imbis na after mahiwalay yung molecules ng reactants, kailangang makabuo na uli, so kailangan pababain yung energy. Si inhibitor, anong ginagawa niya? Mas tinataasan niya yung activation energy. So dahil tinataas niya yung activation energy, tumataas yung pagbuo ng product. Okay? So again, those are catalysts. Next is the reaction mechanism. So it is just the complete description of how the reactants are converted into the products. Okay? So dito may tinatawag tayong unimolecular, bimolecular, and intermolecular. So, sa mga unimolecular, yun yung mga reaction na first order, bimolecular, second order, and then intermolecular sa mga third order. Okay? So, another thing about rate of the chemical reaction is we have what we call as the slow and fast reaction. Okay? Kung napanood niyo yung ating Hess law, so doon meron tayong tinatawag na intermediate reaction. Pag sinabing intermediate reaction, yun yung pinagmulan ng ating chemical reaction. Minsan kasi, yung chemical reaction mula siya sa previous reaction na nangyari. So, ang tawag natin doon, intermediate reactions. So, sa reaction mechanism, ginagamit yung mga intermediate reactions para makuha natin yung magiging rate law equation ng ating equation or ng mismong problem or chemical reaction. So, dito may tinatawag tayong slow and fast reaction. Pag sinabing slow reaction, yun yung uh, intermediate reaction kung saan siya yung nagiging basis ng rate law ng buong reaction. So, for example, meron tayo ditong H2 plus 2ICl to form I2 plus 2HCl. So, ito, meron siyang intermediate reactions na H2 plus ICl to form HI plus Cl at saka HI plus ICl to form I2 plus HCl. Dito, ang slow reaction ay CH2 plus ICl to form HI plus Cl. Ang fast reaction ay si HI plus ICl to form I2 plus HCl. Pag inad mo to, as you can see, ang nangyayari, kapag same silang nasa reactant, maa-add sila. So katulad nitong H2, bring down kasi wala naman tayong kaparehas sa reactant. Pero si ICl, may kaparehas siyang reactant. So 1 ICl plus 1 ICl naging 2 ICl to form I2, and then we have the plus 2 HCl. Okay? So, anong nangyari sa HI? Na-cancel out sila. Ngayon, anong nangyari naman sa Cl? Si Cl, kaya wala siya sa overall reaction. Catalyst lang siya. Okay? So, kapag catalyst, hindi siya kasama sa overall reaction. Okay? So, now, balik tayo dito. Ano yung magiging rate law equation ng ating reaction? Ang rate law equation natin ay rate is equal to K bracket H2 and then bracket ICl. As you can see, yung unang intermediate reaction parehas doon sa overall rate law equation. Okay? So, si rate ng first intermediate reaction ay KH2ICl. So, same na same sila. Yung sa pangalawang reaction, which is sa fast reaction, we have HI and then ICl. So, hindi sila parehas. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Kung sino yung slow reaction, siya yung tatawagin nating rate determining step. Bakit? Kasi pag sinabing rate determining step, siya yung nag-identify kung gaano kabilis mangyari yung reaction. Dahil same sila ng rate law expression, ibig sabihin siya yung naging basis kung gaano kabilis yung reaction. In other words, ang pinaka-term lang natin talaga dyan, pag tinanong ka sa problem or sa exam, sino ang rate determining step, ang pipiliin mo is yung slow reaction. In this example, for instance, what is the rate determining step? The rate determining step is the slow step. Itong H2 plus ICl to form HI plus Cl. Okay? So, as you can see, same yung rate law equation ni original equation at ni slow reaction. So, tatawagin mong rate determining step yung ating slow reaction. Another thing sa reaction mechanism, ano naman yung reaction intermediate or intermediate product. Pag sinabing reaction intermediate, yun yung substance na product nung una, tas reactant nung sumunod. So, sino naman yun? Yun yung HI. As you can see, product siya nung una sa slow reaction, fast reaction, naging reactant siya. So, siya si reaction intermediate. Pag sinabing reaction intermediate or intermediate product, ito yung hindi siya nag-a-appear sa overall reaction pero nagamit siya na-form siya as product nung una tapos naging reactant nung sumunod. So, yun yung mga terms na dapat nating tandaan. Again, una is yung rate determining step. Ang rate determining step kung sino yung slow step. Pangalawa, sino yung reaction intermediate or intermediate product, kung sino yung substance na ginamit as product or nabuo as product before and then naging reactant nung sumunod. Okay? So for example, ito. So ganito yung mga makikita niyong problem sa inyong exam. A mechanism proposed for the reaction between SnCl2 and FeCl3 are as follows. So meron tayong tatlong intermediate reactions. SnCl2 plus 2Cl to form SnCl4 negative 2, SnCl4 negative 2 plus FeCl3 to form SnCl3 plus FeCl2 plus 2Cl, and then SnCl3 plus FeCl3 to form SnCl4 plus FeCl2. Ito yung mga tanong. What is the overall chemical reaction? What are the reaction intermediates of the reaction? And what species serves as the catalyst? So, sa paggawa nitong or pagsagot ng problem na 'to, una, kunin mo muna yung overall chemical reaction. Ia-add mo lang lahat ng reactants at lahat ng products. Kung parehas na nag-a-appear sa reactants and product, naka-cancel out sila. Katulad ng nangyari sa 2Cl, na-cancel out, SnCl4 negative 2 at SnCl3. So, ang overall order would be SnCl2 plus FeCl3 plus FeCl3 naging 2FeCl3 to form SnCl4 plus FeCl2 and FeCl2 naging 2FeCl2. So, ito yung overall reaction. Ngayon, ano yung ating reaction intermediate? Yun yung ating second question. What are the reaction intermediates? Anong sabi ko kanina? Ito yung product siya nung una tas naging reactant nung sumunod. So, ano-ano yun? So, sila ay hindi dapat mag-a-appear sa overall reaction. Ano-ano ba yung mga hindi nag-appear sa overall reaction? Si 2Cl, si SnCl4, negative 2, at saka si SnCl3. Pero among them, sino lang ba yung product nung una tas reactant nung sumunod? So, meron tayong SnCl4 negative 2. So, product siya nung una, tas reactant nung sumunod. And SnCl3. Product siya nung una, reactant nung sumunod. Lastly, what are the catalysts or which species serves as the catalyst? Sino yung reactant nung una, tas product nung sumunod? Okay? Reactant nung una si Cl, tas product siya nung sumunod. Ito yung ating catalyst. Si 2Cl negative or simply Cl negative. As summary, again, pag sinabing rate determining step, yun yung slow step. Yung may same rate law equation sa original. Pag sinabing reaction intermediate, siya yung substance or species that is formed in one step of the reaction mechanism and is consumed in the subsequent. Again, product siya nung una, naging reactant nung sumunod. Na-consume nung sumunod. And then, catalyst, siya naman yung reactant nung una, tapos naging product nung sumunod. Okay? Reactant nung una, product nung sumunod. Again, reaction intermediates or catalyst does not appear or do not appear on the overall reaction. And that's it. So, if you have questions, just don't forget to PM me and then I'll just see you on Wednesday for the review. Kasi medyo naguguluhan na siguro kayo, lalo na sa dulong part na to. Ito yung mga kasama sa exam. Paano kunin yung rate law expression, paano kunin yung rate determining step, paano kunin yung reaction intermediates at yung catalyst. At ano yung nangyayari kapag positive or negative catalyst ang meron. So, yun lang for performance task individual. So, sundin nyo lang yung ating attached na performance task. Okay? So, individual, gagamitin nyo lang yung Apple and then i-observe nyo kung anong mangyayari sa Apple. So, by following different steps. So, again, individual yun. So goodbye and thank you. I'll just see you on Wednesday.